What is going on YouTube? Lamont at large. Today I am in Inglewood, California. We're at the Inglewood Cemetery, and today we're gonna go look at some famous graves that are here at the Inglewood Cemetery. Okay, we start off here with this man, Johnny Cochran. If you don't know his name, then you did not follow the O.J. Simpson trial. He was O.J. Simpson's lawyer. He is the one that famously said, if the glove does not fit, you must acquit. And he got O.J. Simpson off. Whatever you guys think about Johnny Cochran, I will say this about this man, a very, very successful, prominent attorney. He had law offices nationwide. He was more into litigation and malpractice lawsuits, not really defending, famous people. He didn't get into that until later in his career. And let me say this, regardless of the fact if you felt that what he did was wrong, we have a system where it's not up to the lawyer to judge who is being accused. It's simply his job to defend the accused, whichever way you see it. And he died of a brain tumor on March 29th, 2005. I can't believe he's been dead for over 15 years now. It just seems like yesterday you kind of heard about that. And buried along next to him is his father and mother. His father recently died a couple of years ago. He lived to be 101 years old, so unfortunately he buried his son. But truly a Los Angeles legend forever, Johnny Cochran, good or bad. He will always be synonymous with Los Angeles crime or criminal history. Not a celebrity, but I just noticed this man's picture, and Bad Boys Customs as featured in Bronco Driver magazine, March-April edition 2004. And of course, kind of odd that he's buried here, O.J. Simpson, the freeway chase. He made Broncos very popular again, and because of that freeway chase, Broncos are pretty expensive nowadays. It's truly a collector's vehicle, and you don't see very many of them around nowadays. Okay, we have Jester Joseph Hairston, 1901 to 2000. So I put his picture up on the screen. Maybe you don't recognize his name, or maybe do you recognize his face. He was a conductor, a music major. He graduated from Tufts University. He was a star sports player in high school and college. And he's played in a couple TV shows in the 60s and the 70s, but from what I know him from is the television show Amen. He played Deacon Raleigh on that show. I want to say the show was on TV for about maybe 4 or 5 years. It starred Sherman Hemsley, and I remember that show. I used to watch it every Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. on NBC4 Los Angeles. He was the funny old man on the show, and rest in peace to Jester. I was a big fan of your work, sir. Love that show. This is a stand-up comic, Robin Harris. You might know him from Mo Better Blues and Do the Right Thing. But I know him from playing Pop. He was the father from Kid and Play. And he was also behind the animated show Bebe's Kids. It was pretty much a shtick that he would do where he would talk about a girl that he had dated and her kids were terrible. And after his death, it became an animated TV show. They might have made a movie about it too. This guy was pretty funny, and I remember in the second Kid and Play, he had died between the first and the second one, so there was a part in the movie that Kid was saying how he missed his father and he wishes he was still around because he owed him $150. I thought it was hilarious. This dude was really funny. He was only 36 years old when he died. He didn't even get a chance to really just, blow up. And he died of a heart attack in a Chicago hotel room after he had performed in front of a sold-out crowd. Robin Harris. This is international volleyball star Flo Hyman, 1954 to 1986. 1981, she took the bronze medal in women's volleyball at the World Cup. In 1982, took the bronze in the volleyball women's world championships. Later on in the 1984 Olympic Games, the Team USA women's volleyball team took the silver medal. She was the face of women's volleyball at the time. She was very, very tall, 6'5", a fantastic athlete. She was playing professionally in Japan, rooting her teammates on from the side when she suddenly collapsed. All her teammates rushed around her. They rushed her to a hospital where she later died. They said that she died of heart failure, but later on they discovered she had a heart defect called Marfan syndrome. Marfan syndrome has something to do with the connective tissues in her heart. Unfortunately, some athletes that have finished college and go to the pros, whether it be football, baseball, or basketball, this test is done on the heart to see, they just check the hearts of the athletes. And unfortunately, some athletes were never able to turn pro because they had this same syndrome that Flo here did. But because of her death, now there is testing procedures done, and she probably saved her brother's life because he also had that same defect, and he had open heart surgery to fix it. So rest in peace to a fantastic athlete. There is no way that I would be able to come to the cemetery without stopping by and saying hello and showing you guys the panel of Aunt Esther. This is Alberta Peel. Her stage name was Lawanda Page, and you would best know her as Aunt Esther from Sanford and Son. On that show, her and Red Fox would verbally and sometimes physically spar with each other. Red Fox, a lot of the times, getting the best of her. She was kind of the proverbial punching bag of the show, but she would defend herself wholeheartedly. How she got the part on the show, her and Red Fox actually grew up together, and they knew each other since they were teenagers over in St. Louis, Missouri. Originally, she was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and they knew each other many, many years. And he told the producers of the show when they were getting it together that he thought that Lawanda would play the role of Aunt Esther well. So they filmed her. They did a couple of pilots, and the producers, they weren't really feeling her, and they told Red that they were going to have to fire her. And he told them, if you fire her, I'm leaving the show. That's it. Figure it out for yourselves, boys. And they kept her in the show. She actually became one of the funniest TV characters ever. One of the most famous lines from that TV show. If you guys are fans of the show, I'm already laughing just thinking about it. You know exactly the line. I can't say it on this channel, but it was very hilarious. And during the scene, the actors had to try their damnedest to keep from laughing. Very, very, very funny. She did a couple stand-up comedy albums and did a couple movies. Meteor Man, Don't Be a Menace While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. She died September 14th, 2002 from complications from diabetes. She's interred next to her daughter. This is Claire Johnson. I believe she was some kind of an evangelist. And yeah, so there she is, one of the funniest characters ever in TV history. That's Aunt Esther, sucker. Ladies and gentlemen, middleweight champion of the world 5 times over, Sugar Ray Robinson, our champion, May 3rd, 1921 to April 12th, 1989. He is buried alongside his wife, Millie. God loved you, and I will always forever your wife. Those words hit home. Very powerful. This man has 200 professional fights under his belt. He was 173, 19, 6-2, 109 wins by knockout. A very flashy and flamboyant boxer. If you go on YouTube and go watch some of his fights, just a fantastic, great boxing champion. He was one of the first guys in sports, probably the first one who would use a quote-unquote entourage. People really didn't do that back in the day, and he was flashy before flashy was known to be flashy, just a flashy guy. And if you ask, from all the articles I've read online, comments I've read off of YouTube channels when it pertains to boxing, if you would ask 1,000 boxing fans from different generations up and down who was the greatest boxer of all time, I guarantee you at least half of them would say this man right here, Sugar Ray Robinson. If you go watch his fights online and you watch other people, it's hard to argue that. Rest in peace, champ. MC Trouble, Latasha Sharon Rogers, July 30th, 1970 to June 4th, 1992. MC Trouble was the first rapper to be signed to Motown Records. Motown Records, of course, not being known for signing hip-hop acts. Usually they signed singers, but them seeing that hip-hop was becoming very popular in mainstream music, signed her. She had a hit single, I Want to Make You Mine, and she was working on her second album when she suffered an epileptic seizure and unfortunately died. And here he is, folks. This is Cesar Romero. If you don't know who he is, he was a legendary actor. He played in some very big movies. He was like the leading handsome man, heartthrob guy in a few movies in the 40s and 50s. One of them being Legend of Zorro and the Cisco Kid. But most of us remember him as playing the Joker from the original Batman television show. Before there was Heath Ledger, before there was Jack Nicholson, there was Cesar Romero, the original Joker. And fun fact about the TV show, if you watch episodes where the Joker is in the episode, you'll notice, if you look really closely, that he still has his mustache. Now, you would think they would tell him, hey, you have to shave your mustache to play the role. Well, he told them that he wasn't going to. And they fought about it, and finally they said, the heck with it. And he kept his mustache, and he just put extra paint on it, even though you can still clearly see it. Watching these old episodes of Batman battling with the Joker, along with his sidekick Robin. Ladies and gentlemen, Cesar Romero. Okay, guys, that was the tour of some famous graves here at the Inglewood Cemetery here in Inglewood, California. I know a lot of you guys are going to be telling me, oh, hey, why didn't you go to so-and-so's grave? Well, hey, I can always come back, right? I'm not sure if I'll come back again this week or maybe it'll be next year. I have no idea, but I definitely will come back and we'll do another video here. There is over 112,000 people buried here at this cemetery. Now, it's not one of the biggest one. It's not the biggest one in Los Angeles, but definitely is one of the bigger ones. You had a lot of people who were actors and actresses in silent era pictures. You have a lot of vaudeville entertainers. You have a lot of people here who wrote big checks, ran big movie companies, and a lot of stories here. A lot of people that lived their life and all that kinds of good stuff. But I only showed what, maybe 10 graves, if that. So, you know, there's always room to do another video. There's always time to come back, show more graves, tell people stories more. And I definitely will come back. Weather's really nice right now. It's about 80 degrees with a slight breeze coming from the ocean, not very far from the water. One of the nicer cemeteries in Los Angeles, and the landscapers keep the lawns out here are pretty well manicured. And if you could see to the left, if I can pan the camera, they're building yet another mausoleum. That's amazing. There's some big mausoleums out here, and there's a lot of money to be made right there. Anyways, live but not live, but still alive by the grace of God. I am Lamont at Large. Thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you on the next vlog, guys. Have a good day. God bless. Peace out.